producer James, Adam Schefter reporting that Maliek Collins, Texans defensive tackle, who was brought in 2021, originally I believe brought in on I don't know if he was brought in on a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal originally, but he was originally part of that influx of veterans to begin the Nick Caserio era. Many of whom are gone now, but he's going to hang on for at least another 2 years. It looks like he signs a 2-year, $23 million contract extension with $20 million of that 23 guaranteed. What are your thoughts on Maliek Collins sticking around for at least a couple more years?
Well, you hope that he plays well enough to stick around, but contracts aren't worth the paper they're written on because teams cut players all the time with years left. James Robinson, the running back, signed a 2-year deal with the Patriots in March, and he's already been cut. Maliek, the coaches love him. Remember how much Lovie Smith talked about Maliek Collins and what he did when Lovie was defensive coordinator and the head coach. D'Amico Ryans likes him. Jacques Cesare in his second year as a defensive line coach likes him. The problem hadn't been Maliek Collins. The problem's been finding a guy to play next to him. But I'm happy for him. He's going to make more than $10 million a year. Yeah,
well, and like I said, 20 of that's guaranteed. So they're going to move on from him anytime soon. That's going to be a big cap hit to do that. John, he has been one of the more productive, guy who's flashed, I'll say, on defense, even on these bad defenses. Maliek Collins, if he could just steer clear of getting 15-yard penalties, this is an even greater signing by the Houston Texans.
Well, let's be honest. Yeah. Their run defense has been pathetic since before he got here. It's still pathetic. He's not a pass rusher. So he has played well according to the coaches. Obviously, Nick Caserio thinks he's played well to elevate him, so they're not blaming him for the bad run defense. D'Amico Ryans said, hey, you stop the run. Well, you just have to do it. Well, D'Amico may have to suit up, because they have been just dreadful, as you know. So Maliek Collins got to continue to play well against the run, and then they have other players who have to improve against the run, or they're going to be just unbelievably bad for a fourth consecutive year.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I guess I'll steal from the mailbag early here. We'll get to the mailbag questions in a few minutes. We've got a few other topics that we're going to hit as well here on the show before we get to the mailbag. But I'll steal from the mailbag right now, John. I'll be honest, Maliek Collins was not an extension I was expecting here leading up to the season. If you, off the top of your head, can you think of any more of these that might be coming with the Texans with some of their veteran guys?
If cornerback Steven Nelson starts opposite of Derek Stingley Jr. like he did last year, and we think he will again. He's in the last year of his contract, and he played pretty well. Problem is, I think he's 29. If you're going to extend a guy who's in his late 20s, it better be a 2-year deal. And that's why Maliek Collins' contract is good for him, and it's good for the Texans. And when you're getting to be that age with a team that's rebuilding, it's going to have to be a short-term deal. And I haven't looked lately to see whose contracts are up or who's going this year. But if they play hard and they practice hard like Maliek Collins does, Nelson didn't come in the off-season program. Sheldon Rankin, he didn't come in the off-season program, which was preposterous. He's a new guy. Man. He's approaching 30. He's not as good as he was early in his career. He's got a new team, new head coach, a new coordinator, a defensive line coach he doesn't know, and he doesn't show up till the mandatory minicamp. It wouldn't surprise me if another tackle doesn't emerge if Rankins is out on the street in that last group of cuts, but unless he tears it up at training camp and preseason.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that was a $10 million deal. I don't know how much of the deal was guaranteed, but you think it's that big a deal that he didn't show up for the voluntary portion of preseason, huh?
It's never a big deal to the coaches. It's not mandatory. It's voluntary. They don't need to be here if they don't want to be here. That's what the coaches say. But I think, yes, you got a guy like Maliek who's busting his butt every day, and then you got Sheldon Rankins. You don't know where he is. I'm guessing he's in shape. He's out there now sweating like everybody else the last 2 days, but it's not a good look. In baseball, tie goes to the runner. In football, tie goes to the guy that's been showing up.
Yeah. I guess the only other contract extension off the top of my head I could think of would be Titus Howard is the one probably a lot of people have their eye on. If you had to handicap that one, do you think Titus gets an extension before the season starts?
It's going to be really hard to pay 2 offensive tackles And Laramie Tunsil's highest paid lineman in NFL history. And then you got Titus. I think Titus is on the wrong team unless he takes like a 2 or 3 year deal. He's still going into, was this his fifth 19? He was a rookie. So Titus has been a good soldier too. He's a starter, but it just depends on the money. He's going to have to sign one of those deals that people consider team friendly.
Yeah, maybe so. He really likes it here, so we'll see. But it's a big year for Titus Howard. All right, so there you go. The big news with the Texans, or the breaking news at least, is as we record, is that Maliek Collins, defensive tackle, has signed a 2-year, $23 million extension with the Texans, $20 million guaranteed. Adam Schefter of ESPN.com, the first with that. John, you just got off.